Hey everybody, I'm James. I'm here. I want to talk to you about some life hacks, I guess, with mindfulness, how to eliminate depression and stress within your life, which is an issue with everybody. But I want to talk to you about how the brain works. The way we form our reality is made up of neural pathways which move along the way we are inclined to continue to think about things with or without knowing it. So these pathways that we have within our brain um, are created with the more we think about things within like the same context or beliefs. They get bigger, so your brain becomes more used to relieving that, using that information in that manner. Like if you're a negative person, I'm sure you've met a lot of people who are just negative about everything. They hate the weather, they hate the trees, they hate where they live, they hate their friends, they hate their parents, they hate, etc., etc., etc. But the reason why most of these people stay that way is because it's the way that their brain has formed over years and years of use. But they don't have to stay that way. It does take work to condition yourself back into a healthier way of thinking or living. So I wanted to run through some things about how it affects our reality, how we perceive ourselves and others, how we can change our view from a negative aspect to a positive aspect. I also want to talk about the effects of anxiety and stress, and how anxiety and stress actually relieve chemicals called norepinephrine and adrenaline, which cause your heart rate to increase, your breathing to be unnormalized, and the inability to think in a clear fashion. These things can really cause a lot of problems within your social life. If you want to do something on stage as a performer or getting in front of a big group of people at your business, and you have these recurring anxiety issues, sorry, they can kind of inhibit you from being able to continue evolving and doing things that you enjoy doing, or much less just going out to the movies or the mall. It can affect your life all around. So I wanted to talk about some ways that you can change this. For the stress and anxiety part, the way our brain works is that there are like three sections to our brain. One's a mammalian, one's a reptilian, and I don't know the other one right now, but you get my drift. So the lower functioning brain is just focused on regulation of heart, breathing, fight or flight, stress, attack, anger, that kind of stuff. For the most part, in our society nowadays, that form of our brain has become more or less docile or kind of claimed out. So we don't. A lot of us don't have the survival skills that we used to have, or we have heightened survival skills. That kind of depends on the surroundings that you're in. If you're in a highly violent environment, a highly stressful environment, your levels are going to be a lot different than someone who's had a good life. They've always lived in a great house. Their parents are very respectful. Their friends are respectful, etc. But one way that we can stop the anxiety and the stress during these times of heightened anxiety or fight and flight syndrome is your breath. Your breath is what your lower brain function understands is time periods of when things are okay or not okay. Because when you're not okay or you're angry, your breathing changes. When you're stressed, your breathing changes. Which, when your breathing changes into a shallow form, a lot of times you have all these chemicals that your brain releases into your body, which is good for survival reasons, but not like, let's say you're having a conversation with a cashier. So when you start to notice that your breath is becoming shallow, that you can feel like your tingliness or whatever it is, your warning signs, I'm sure you notice something that is an indication that you're becoming anxious. If you start to focus on your breath and make sure you take good, long, heavy breaths in, heavy breaths out, your brain actually stops releasing those chemicals because it thinks that you're in a state where you're safe. So instead of feeding that anxiety or that stress, it actually causes it to stop and go back to a normal state of things. Another way is you can just think about other things that are like, if you're in a bad situation and you don't want to react in a stressful or hostile way, you can focus your brain on other areas of positivity, like, whatever is good in your life, what food you had for lunch, or a funny comment that somebody made to you can totally change the outcome of any situation and in the manner of the way stress is. Now I want to talk about depression and sadness and happiness. We all at certain points in our life go through time periods where things are not the way we'd like for them to be, or people around you aren't the people you want to be around. It can cause you to start thinking of things in a negative fashion, like when you get up in the morning, you can think about another fucking day, or you can look at your car and be like, oh, I have this shitty car, and man, my house is trash, I really need this other house. It can lead you into thinking in negative manners, or like you can see somebody and think of them because of their clothing or their financial status. You can think of them in negative fashions, which can cause you not to be able to, create friendships, or to talk to people in a manner that anybody would be around you. If you're always just focusing on the fucking bad shit, there ain't nobody trying to fucking be around that. Like, but you can change these behaviors by simply meditating. Meditating and realizing the thoughts that you have, the bad thoughts and how you're depressed. You can allow those to, you can feel them and think about them, but let them go. Or you can focus on another positive part of your life instead of when that thought arises, and redirect your brain signals to that positivity, keeping things within objectiveness. I mean, I understand that everybody has dark times, but once you've been in those times for a long time, it can not just be like a mood you're in. It can become like a part of your personality, and then it can become, honestly, an illness. You can become sick and unable to do things that you would normally like to do, because your brain's kind of controlling where you are. You're not no longer controlling like what your brain thinks. Your brain's controlling what you think. This isn't a place that's healthy for anybody to be. You can also journal, which can help you reflect on the things in your life that are going wrong, or things you don't like in your life, and make an effort to change those things. Journal every week, journal every day, read every week, think about what's going on in your life during that time period. Change things you don't like. That would make me happy if I was changing the things that I didn't like in my life and making the things that I do like in my life more abundant. Um, but you can also talk to a friend, reach out to somebody who you know who's able to help you get back in a good place. I wouldn't say that's like the best option to use friends or counselors or whatever you would choose to do on a regular basis, because self care is mainly what I guess I'm focused on in this blog, is that you can change your view, your reality, based all on things that you can achieve within yourself. This isn't some outer force. You don't have to take a pill. You don't have to fucking guzzle down a gallon of alcohol every night. You know, like, you can change your outlook on the reality of where you are. It's like hacking into reality, you know, like, if things are terrible and you want them to change, you have to kind of set um, some boundaries for what you're going to allow your mind to put you in, where do you allow your mind to take you. When you relive a memory within your mind can't determine the difference between the memory and the actual event. So every time that you remember a really bad thing that happened, you're gonna actually relive that. And if you relive a lot of bad memories every day, you're at some point that's gonna be your normal, is that negativity. So getting out of that the negative feedback loop is hella important if you want to, you know, have a good outlook on your life and be able to focus when you're not at your best, when you're not thinking straight, when you're always stressed out, when you're always negative. You're unable to concentrate on the things that you want to do, unable to function and do the things that are most important to you. So the most important thing is keeping yourself in check. If you don't keep yourself in check, things will continue to deteriorate, and to the point where, you know, you are in a bad situation. If you believe you're in a bad situation for long enough, you will put yourself into that bad situation, even if you don't want to. Which kind of leads me to, I guess, the last point, is that it's very important to have goals, are things to focus on in the future, things to do in the present. Because if you're not focused on your goals, if you're not working towards something, if you're not doing something in the present moment, your brain's going to atrophy. It's like your muscles. Your muscles get built, they get bigger. The more you work on them, the stronger you get. But if you allow your brain to slip back into the past and always be focused on the past, good or bad, I understand that it's good to reminisce on the past. But to stay in a state of, you know, of goodness and well-being, you have to focus on your future or what you're doing in the present moment. Because without focusing on the present moment, things become kind of sad after a while, you know, like, you don't get anything done, you're unproductive at work, you're just there, you're not really interacting with anyone or doing your job correctly because you're too focused on past events or negativities or things around you. But just try to, you know, find the things that you enjoy and make a plan to do them daily. Get better at things that you wanted to be better at. Just make a conscious effort at you and your future, and fuck what happened in the past. Fuck what people said. What Don't let your past determine your future. Don't let your past determine your present. If you're not continuing on with what you believe to be true, then you're gonna have problems. You can't let everybody else, like, dictate who you are. A lot of people are negative towards people who are doing things, and a lot of people um, are vengeful at people that do things because they don't want them to. So they put them down and um, want them to be at their level because they're lonely and they're depressed and they want more people around them not doing anything, thinking about how bad things are. But it's important just to keep in mind that you can do anything. Literally anything you fucking want to. Um, it's just doing it as a ritual will make you better. It's practice. People have inherited talents, and that's very true. But people with inherited talents don't get very far because they don't have the heart. They haven't spent the time into putting time into their craft to make things better. Um, it's like if people win the lottery, like people win the lottery all the time, and in 2 years they're broke because they didn't work for what they got, and when they didn't work for what they want, they didn't appreciate it. When you don't appreciate it, you lose it. So like if you want to do something, no matter what skill level you're at, just do it and just practice it, and I promise things will change. You'll get better. Um, Keep a faith that things will change, things will get better. You will progress as a person, and you're worth it. It's not. There's no reason to live your life by what other people think of you or by what happened to you in the past. Change it. Change your pattern. Break those chains. Make things better. Make things better for the people around you. If you used to be in a negative attitude and you're positive around people, you may lose some friends that don't want to be positive, but you will gain some that will help you in the long run a lot more than the ones who are trying to drag you down and get you all messed up in their shit. So I guess that kind of wraps it up. If you like this talk or this video, please like, subscribe, and write a comment. This is my first video. I'm kind of new to this, so the sound's probably not the best, and I need the light because you're not going to be able to see me very well. But I had to start doing this because if I didn't start doing it, I may have never done it. But I appreciate your time, and have a good night.